At preliminary investigation indicated that Fletcher County Sheriff Mickey Sean Steins fired at District Judge Kevin Mullins following an argument inside the courthouse.
Now, was there any motive, or was this just, did he go there to do that, or what?
At this time, that's questions that we're still trying to get answers to, what led up to the actual shooting itself and the moments prior to.
Sir, did the shooting take place inside the judge's chambers?
That's correct.
Was anyone else present?
There was other people present inside the building as well.
But not inside the chambers?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is there video, a camera that's inside that chamber?
As far as I'm aware, I think there is video from within the facility.
Are you able to tell us where those gunshots were at and
As far as locations, I do not. That's information that I don't know. And again, that's stuff that will be uncovered and identified later on.
How many shots?
At this time, we don't know.
Did you speak to any of the witnesses you mentioned?
Me personally, I did not. Every witness that was inside the building will be interviewed as standard protocol throughout the investigation.
The sheriff turned himself in?
That's correct. He was arrested on scene without incident shortly after officials arrived.
Do you believe this is personal?
At this time, I'm unable to answer.
do we know if he's cooperated yet?
As far as I know, yes.
Do we know what charges are pending?
Sheriff Steins was placed under arrest and transported to a correctional facility. He was charged with one count of murder in the first degree.
Now, will the sheriff's office have any, will they be helping out with this investigation?
The Kentucky State Police will take the lead on this. Post 13 detectives will be carrying the investigation.
I know schools were placed on lockdown in the area and students were held back. Is there any advice or what is going to go on tomorrow with schools or businesses that might be interested in closing, staying open?
So this was an isolated incident. We did place the school on temporary lockdown because we didn't know exactly what we were dealing with. Once we were here and was able to clear the scene and deemed that there was no further threat to public, we went ahead and released that lockdown and they went on about their day.
There are a lot of rumors going on social media right now, and it seems tensions might be high within this community. Is there anything that you can say to people right now?
We could use everybody's prayers, send prayers for the family, that they get through this difficult time.
And from, Laurel to Russell to now Letcher County, what has these past couple of weeks been like for the state police?
Very busy. It's been very busy, but that's what we're here to do. We're going to carry out and do our jobs in the way we need to.
Do you know how much longer you guys might be out here?
We should be able to clear the scene within the next 30 minutes.
Any idea what's next for the sheriff? I mean, what does this community do without a sheriff?
That will be handled by somebody else in the days coming. But as of right now, we'll continue to carry out our investigation.
From my understanding, this is the first time something like this has happened in this area. Can you confirm it?
As far as I'm aware, I don't know of anything of this magnitude.
And then talking just with people in this area, can you provide us, what are they saying to you? Are they angry? Are they sad?
As of right now, I've not had a chance to speak to very many people. It's been a very hectic and busy day. But this community is small in nature, and we're all shook.
And what are the next steps? I'm guessing send it for autopsy report.
That's correct. There'll be an autopsy conducted in the days coming, and just following up on all the leads and make sure we conduct a thorough investigation.
Was it the sheriff's service pistol?
That I do not know.
Do you anticipate that those people who were present will be helping with the investigation?
I foresee so.
And you know when the deputy was lifted as a deputy here?
I'm sorry?
The sheriff, do you know when he was appointed to sheriff?
He has, I think, spent 2 terms, so going on around 8 years.
To make sure there wasn't anyone else injured in this incident?
There was no other injuries reported.
And where was he transported to, the sheriff?
To a correctional facility.
Correctional facility. No specific location?
At this time, we're not going to release that information.
When something like this happens, the community obviously responds. Would you have any words of encouragement to them in the days to come?
We got to stick together and get through it one day at a time.
You mentioned an argument leading up to that. Do you have any information on details on what that
The details
was?
I do not have at this time. We know that it was an argument between the two that led up, but what exactly transpired prior to the shots being fired, still things that we're trying to get answers to.
How long had Judge Mullins been in his position?
That I'm not sure. I don't have that ready and available.
And is the body still inside?
No, it has been removed at this time.
Who appoints the sheriff? Like, who appoints? Who's going to become?
So as far as the process that's going to take place in the days, I'd let somebody else comment on that, and they would probably be better suited to answer that question for you.
Anything else you can ask?
This time, no.
Do you know when the sheriff will have a court appearance?
I do not. That will probably not be scheduled until a later date.
And do you know if the body will be sent to Frankfurt? Or?
To the medical examiner's office, that's correct.
Is the courthouse going to be shut down for any amount of time?
I have not been briefed on that. That is something that those officials will have to work through and decide what's best for not only the community, but the officials that work inside that building as well.
What can you tell us about the scene? Is it very gruesome? You know, what is it?
As of right now, we don't have any of that information to share.
Thank you, Trooper. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Out there in Letcher County, Kentucky, Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins has been arrested for the murder of District Judge Kevin Mullins. Again, that press conference just confirming what local reports there have been saying for a few hours now, but a lot of those details just coming to light officially in the last moments. You saw them unfolding live here. Again, to recap, officials now saying that there was some sort of argument inside of the judge's courtroom, in the judge's chambers, and that the sheriff allegedly pulled out a gun and shot and killed allegedly the judge there in front of other witnesses. We're joined here by Sam Brock, who's been monitoring some of these developments as we're watching them here. Sam, we were both looking into this before the show started, not knowing if these were true because they seem so bizarre. What did you take from what we just heard?
Yeah, it sounds outlandish, certainly. I mean, this is such a rare thing to see government officials and members of law enforcement involved in acts of violence like this. It is inherently gaudy stunning. What I took away from it, among other things, is the fact that this didn't seem to be a spur-of-the-moment, spontaneous action based on what we just heard from the Kentucky State Police trooper there, but in fact that there was some sort of buildup that occurred before the violence. And now, of course, Sheriff Steins is in custody. I'm also seeing it appears that he was set to offer some sort of a deposition related to a 2022 lawsuit that did involve one of his sheriff's deputies being accused of something very untoward that may have occurred, according to that lawsuit, in Mullins' chambers. No idea. It is completely speculative to say if these things might be related or not. Simply that it doesn't seem like there is a wealth of information that's out there right now that would have necessarily connected the judge, in this case, Kevin Mullins, to Mickey Steins, the sheriff, and what might have been a motivation for this act of violence. Again, the state trooper himself said he didn't want to speculate and didn't offer any possible explanations for motives. We just know that you have a 54-year-old man right now who lost his life, and presumably his family is in deep levels of grief. And this is just something that should never happen. And I'm wondering whether or not there was a lot of questions initially as to how someone could have obtained access to a weapon and get it into a courthouse to shoot a judge in his chambers. And this, of course, sort of ties the bow on that it's a member of law enforcement who obviously had a firearm. So we're all sort of processing this right now. And you did also hear the state trooper say that they had put the local high school in lockdown for a period of time. There were actually reports, Gotti, of an active shooting downtown. And then the state police coming out and saying later, don't worry, to parents in the community, your kids are safe. This was an isolated incident. And in fact, it was an isolated incident. And now, obviously, this county here, Letcher County and Whitesburg, which is a couple hours away from Louisville and from Lexington, is grieving and trying to put the pieces together as to how something like this could have happened.
Yeah, not just a member of law enforcement, the top officer in law enforcement in that county now arrested for murder of a judge in his chambers. That's what the state trooper there is saying. Yeah. Also, the state trooper saying that right now they are asking for prayers as they process all of that. From what we understand, that courthouse there, obviously it is a very active scene. But did they say anything about whether or not that court is going to be open in the coming days?
Yeah, I didn't catch anything about that, and it might have been addressed during that press conference. I didn't catch it if it was. One would think it'd be pretty hard to imagine that they would be resuming business as usual tomorrow as the investigation continues. As of earlier today, you had the coroner on scene and Kentucky State Police collecting evidence. So I don't know how long that process is going to go on for, but as we can see right now, Gotti, as you've articulated, there's crime scene tape around the Letcher County Courthouse. You have a heavy police presence. It would be hard to envision a circumstance in which there was just court as normal tomorrow, as so many folks right now are just trying to wrap their heads around how something like this is possible.
Nothing is going to be normal in that community for quite some time. Sam Brock, thank you so much for helping us monitor these developments. Thanks again,
Thanks, Gotti. Thank you.